Is Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. Okay, so yesterday we had a few headlines hit the news that, yeah, even being through it, were pretty shocking. So they're worth looking through here. The first, they are abducting children on their way home from school, then using them as bait to get the parents out of their house. There have been 4 children targeted and taken on their way to or from school in Columbia Heights over the last couple of days. These are hitting local news, and I've got the links in the description. In particular, and the most heart-wrenching story that we've seen is a picture of a 5-year-old little boy named Liam Ramos. He was taken by federal agents on his way home from school in his little blue hat and Spider-Man backpack, and then marched up to his house by federal agents. He and his father have already been taken, shipped off to a detention center in Texas. Okay, next one is tear gas in Uptown. There are videos and photographs of ICE celebrating a federal appeals court pause on the no retaliation against peaceful protesters injunction by retaliating against peaceful protesters in the most extremely visible ways and extremely visible areas in the heart of Uptown. Now, if you're not familiar with Minneapolis, Uptown is like the heart of the bougie, yuppie, white side of South Minneapolis. This is like where all the white kids who went to the University of Minnesota move after their first job, if their first job is local here in the Twin Cities. Yeah, it's west of I-35 and close to the lakes of South Minneapolis. There are verified reports and videos of the use of flashbangs, green tear gas grenades. Those are the chemical ones that people are reporting super bad trouble breathing even days after being exposed to. And some of the most disturbingly brutal retaliation against the peaceful protesters that I have ever seen. This picture in particular really boiled my blood. Made family dinner pretty awkward last night. There's no evidence of any violence against any ICE here. None. All we can see are the community members who came out to tell what was a very propagandized caravan of feds parading their way through Uptown, led by Greg Bovino himself. It's mostly just community members probably coming out to tell him to kindly piss off. And they're just trying to show that they're not going to be held to any account or any standards of decency. Oh, that's enough for the news for the moment. Really, I can take in a few moments or a few events a day. On a more personal note, there have been many concerning rumors floating around from people I know and news sources indicating that the tactics in use by bad actors in my neighborhood are getting more devious and underhanded. Those include, for example, we have a news report here that goes over some tailing by both obvious and what seem to be an increasingly number of undercover actors. And I'm kind of feeling this one in person too here. I was standing out on the corner this morning, and I definitely saw a few vehicles that stood out. I can remember them pretty clearly. Last week, when I saw a full convoy of these masked men roll up, they were not hiding, right? We had like super federal-looking American large SUVs with no legal Minnesota plates on them, filled with men in body armor and masks. Pretty obvious, right? Today, what we're seeing are indicators that are a little more subtle. My suspicions for the vehicles that I saw today that seemed out of place were Minnesota vehicles. They kind of fit the profile of what you expect to be seeing driving around here in the wintertime, so Subaru or Subaru-ish. The drivers, though, were all unrecognizable. I've been on the corner every day for the past week. They were stern-looking middle-aged white men. They did not have any children in the car. They did not make eye contact with me on the corner. There was no waving. They really stood out. And it was obvious to me, I think, only because I've been out there. I've been on the same spot, and I think that being able to kind of determine what normal is, even over the sample size of about 4 school days, has been incredibly important just to kind of get the senses tuned. So I would recommend that if you are watching this and you are not in Minnesota right now, if you think that you will want to volunteer for school watch, start now. Look for the different corners or the different avenues where people might be turning off of larger streets into your local school. Kind of understand where people might be looking out, and then go stand out there. Wave to your people who are coming into school. Even now, when people don't in your community don't immediately know that you're there to perform that school watch for them, you have the advantage right now of defining what normalcy looks like. And that's going to be important preoccupation, because you are going to be able to tell first what's the difference between normal life right now and when they roll into town. And then you're also going to have a good idea. You're going to recognize specific cars. You're going to notice patterns. You're going to know how many people are coming into the school. And you're going to be really able to spot those that stand out. Because what I think is happening is we are seeing essentially a more prolonged offensive against our communities. So rumor is right now that hotels in the Twin Cities are booked out through about mid-May. I haven't independently gone in and substantiated the claim via booking hotels, but anywhere in the world, if you are curious, that would be a good thing to look into. We are basically expecting this to go on for the long haul at this point. It's clear there's no adults in the room. I think that while we are exposing some of the big picture gross injustices that have always been in the government, we're definitely not getting any support from large corporations or business leaders. And it's an extremely telling silence right now. I'm very interested to see whether we're going to continue hearing it. On the spirit of long haul, though, we are being stalked and kidnapped by an adversary that has every technological advantage possible, that has the full benefit and control of the surveillance state that's been built against our better interest and against our wishes. And it has the full weight of a weaponized Department of Justice and administrative branch at its back. I'm also not that fearful, because I think I know pretty well the sorts of advantages they're going to leverage. But none of their tactics are too surprising. They're just low. When I was supporting federal projects at work, we had to go through OPSEC, or operational security training, each year. The main purpose is to make sure that all government contractors are trained on threats, threat indicators, risks of different type, informational leakage, just to be conscious of your environment and how you share information, especially in a 21st century world. In that training, the adversarial group that you were essentially trained against was always labeled as anti-government protesters. In the scenario they have in that training, they're protesting an Air Force base, some Air Force training at a hypothetical base. One thing that I've noticed is that I have seen better OPSEC in my community over the past week, as I've seen in practice by this federal administration, or even by a lot of the folks I worked with in the federal space. What I can say right now is that you need to take this time to make sure, especially if you will be dropping off or picking up kids from school, that your vehicle fits all state regulations, and consider ensuring that at least your driver's side window and ideally your back windows do not have dark tint. You want to make sure that your neighbors are able to see into your vehicle. That's going to be a big part of ensuring that your community feels safe. Keep your tabs up to date, and most importantly, make sure that your state driver's license is up to date with your local address and photograph. Tomorrow, January 23rd, 2026, is a general strike in Minnesota, which is exciting. Having researched and learned a lot about the history of the labor movement, of unions, which are generally backing the strike, it's very cool to see it come together in action. So I'll be spectating from hopefully inside my home, because no school tomorrow. No school, no work, no shopping. It is going to be stupid cold outside, and so we're looking forward to a day of either sheltering in place or civic action. I think since we live in a world where the priorities of those in power, both of the government, both at the companies that we work for, it always seems to be exclusively money. So, halting the economic systems that run our world is going to be the most direct and impactful way to bring attention to what's going on here and to truly show that life cannot continue as normal like this. If you are outstate and you can join in solidarity, I encourage you to do so. And I encourage you to continue making Minnesota more visible. Please don't stop sharing what is going on here. We may not be the front page of every news station right now, and trust me, I'm checking. But I can tell you that things on the ground here have not gotten any better. Every day is feeling more dangerous and not safer. We'll see you tomorrow.